Are you ready to explore the gate of confusion, gate 64 in the second line? It's called qualification. The second line, as all second lines, it doesn't know what it's projecting out. It doesn't know it's confused. It's walking around inside the house, has no idea it's confused, but this is what it's projecting out. And so it's always surprised when somebody knocks on the window to let it know just how confused it is. You know, when they say, what you're doing doesn't make any sense. Yeah, they might say something like that. The second line is going to turn around and say, leave me alone. All second lines, leave me alone. Don't disturb me. Don't distract me. Because if you don't disturb me and you don't distract me, I'm never going to know I'm confused. And I'm really happy about that. In the exaltation, it says, an inner development which recognizes what qualities are essential for transcendence and the awareness that without them, action will fail. Inner development that can end the confusion over what makes sense. This inner development is not doing. The action mentioned here is all related to the activity that is in the description of the channel. It's the design of mental activity. It's mental action. It's not a doing. This is a collective gate. And this second line is projecting out that they're confused. What comes back at them is all kinds of different ways from different people who want to help them out of their confusion. You know, they get all kinds of advice about what they should do, what therapists they should talk to, what book they should read, where they should go, how they can make sense out of their own confusion. They don't know that confusion is a perfect state for them because they're not being concerned about what all that stuff means. It's the others that will be interested in that. Every second line has an anthropologist in its life studying their behavior through the lit window. Oh, look, isn't it interesting what they're doing? I wonder how they survive. It looks so confusing. In the detriment, we have constantly in action. Hold on a minute. I'm remembering this correctly. Constantly in action. That's correct. I was just, yeah. Should I start that again? In the detriment, we have constantly in action. It wastes the very qualities and resources that it will need, getting lost in the confusion and burdening the psyche. This is inner development. You know, it's lower trigram. This is an inward process, and it can be so difficult to be able to just accept your design, that you're not here to make sense out of your inspiration. What you can do is learn to recognize who really can make sense out of it. When we look at all the undefined aspects of our chart, you know, whether it's a channel or a gate or a center, this is where we can be wise. What we are not is where our wisdom lives. The 64 can always learn in a lifetime to be clear about which 47 really releases the pressure for them, which 47 makes sense out of the confusion. They don't do it by being conditioned, by being lost in it. It's not by wanting to be what one is not. 64s are not here to make sense out of things. They're not. They're here to simply share the past. They make great witnesses because they're not here to qualify or quantify what they witness. They're just here to share it. When you are projecting out that you are confused, you may not even know why there is confusion for you or what it is. You can literally end up being lost in being confused. And it's so important for people who have this gate to understand that this is never the authority in your life. This gate is truly for others. What you remember about yourself in any situation is automatically a lie. It's been censored already. What you remember about yourself in any situation, I mean, remember all of that. It's truly about the conditions that we find. The first line, the essence of the hexagram, it's a lie. It always will be. But what you remember about others in the same situation is of enormous value to them, just not to you. Any 64 that can accept that in their life is never going to be burdened in the process. And that's the whole thing for them. Ra said that the moment you're trying to make sense out of your own life through the 64 gate, welcome to hell, because that's what you're going to get. And I offer to you to make sense out of the grounding energy in the 63rd gate in the second line, which is called structuring. Leave me a message. Mercury on the move today. Mercury is associated with the mind, with mental functions. A Mercury activation points to essential concepts that need to be expressed, something that we need to communicate and put out there. Today at just past quarter past, so it's 15:16 VST, Mercury moves into gate 29. This is the gate of perseverance. This is the gate of saying yes. It's the sacral gate. It's saying yes to new experiences. It's in the same circuitry as our sun gate at the moment. And it's a new experience that it's saying yes to without any expectation of what the outcome might be. So would you like to bring some awareness to this over the next week? We have Mercury here for a week. You might find yourself talking in conversations about the experiences that you've said yes to. Or you might hear other people having these sorts of conversations, or find stories popping up on news feeds or on social media. So the moon is still in gate 6 from 2:13 this morning, the gate of friction. Friction is really important to life. No growth without friction. But it is one of those things that we tend to avoid, possibly because it's in the emotional center. It's a solar plexus gate. Gate 46 is next. This is at 13:38, and this G center gate is the determination of the self. This is the temple. It's the love of the body or not. And we experience life through the physical body. We are consciousness in form. The form is the body. This vehicle we ride around in is what gives us our experience of life. The moon can bring a little bit of extra focus into the relationship that we have with our body. To the experience of life we have through being in our particular form. From gate 46, the next step in the wheel takes us to the splenic center. And we go from the gate of the love of the body into the center, which is all about body awareness and body intelligence. We begin with the moon going into gate 18, and it's at 1:04 tomorrow morning. This is called correction. And if you have this gate consistently activated, you may find that you have a keen eye for spotting the flaws in the pattern, pictures that aren't quite straight, things that don't quite match somehow. If you don't have this consistently, perhaps the moon's transit will highlight this aspect in your experience of life over the next few hours. Yeah, that's it for today, I think. Thank you very much for joining me. And I will be back for a third line day tomorrow. So until then, as always, go gently.